The grenade launcher, a pretty interesting weapon which is also wielded by one of the 3-wave 3 bosses, Fusilier. And I thought, what if I could beat Siege with just Fusi's loadout? So I began planning. Fusilier has 2 weapons, his grenade launcher and the more niche shovel that he'll use whenever someone gets too close to him. These weapons are pretty easy to represent with the minion weapons, using a grenade launcher and by extension its upgrade, the parabolic hydra, for Fusi's grenade launcher and the shovel for, well, the shovel. But for this challenge I did allow items that do not deal damage but help me with winning, like jetpacks and the aid kit. I also decided to play on 50% difficulty because I'm pretty sure that anything above that is impossible, especially with my immense skill issue. Now I've talked enough about the rules and now it's time to talk about the gameplay. The first run went pretty smooth. I already knew from previous experience that the grenade launcher eats through your ammo, but since I had the shovel, I used it throughout all of my runs as the weapon to kill anything. Except bosses and mechanical units, but everything else you could think of, I meleeed. A shielder, multiple times of course, cloakers, as if I die, and fully upgraded engineer nest? Why not? But back to the first run. I have reached wave 3 only using 4% of my ammo, but just because I didn't know you could melee shielders on 50% yet. But now it's time for my first wave 3 boss, and it turned out to be Tempest. Usually Tempest would be the easiest of the wave 3 bosses, because you just have to stay at a pretty far distance from him and then he can't do anything. But that's also the problem with this run. You see, the grenades travel in a parabolic shape, which means that it is basically impossible to hit a target, especially a small, fast-moving one like Tempest, from a far distance. Which meant that I almost died multiple times in this run, but with the help of my aid kit, I was able to pull through and kill Tempest. But then I thought, the fuck am I going to do if Hermes shows up on wave 6? But I didn't really worry about that and hoped for the other 2 bosses. Mailing my way through waves 4 and 5, getting a jetpack after wave 4 and upgrading my nade launcher to the parabolic hydra after wave 5, and all of the hoping paid off because the boss was Prometheus. I thought of all the enemies that spawned before him and then he spawned, and I fired my first shell. But then I heard it. Holy shit. I fucking forgot that he would air blast away all of the projectile and melee wielding players away from him. So that move mechanic just totally screwed over this whole run. After Prometheus turned me into a Duna, I did some testing on Prome and Hermes and found out that Prome takes damage sometimes, which is observably inconsistent though, and Hermes' rocket pods also take damage from the nades, while Hermes itself doesn't. So I made the rule that if you destroy at least 3 or 4 of Hermes' rocket pods with my nades, then I'll be able to shoot it down using my assault rifle. And for Prome, I just hope that I didn't get him. So the perfect wave 6 boss would be Gaia, but even for her, I didn't know if the damage output of the nades would be enough to kill her servants without her healing them, creating an infinite loop. But with all that in mind, I started the next run, which went pretty smooth sailing. I destroyed the original Fusi, then defeated Hermes with the newly established rule and even got the tanky troops modifier on wave 6, giving me enough results for the terminal velocity and for so much ammo that I probably wouldn't have to buy anything for the rest of the game. But then the wave 9 boss decided to be Sparta. I thought it would be pretty easy since I tried to cheat him by gliding in the air with the terminal, and I got him down to about 105 health. And then the rest of the enemies came to the outskirts of the map, making me try to migrate away. But that used up all of my terminal's charges, and Sparta did to me what cloakers do to new players. Or it was just a massive skill issue. But one thing was certain, being that my ass couldn't beat Sparta with just a grenade launcher. But while on the topic of wave 9 bosses, I thought about Trident, and about if the orbs are even breakable with the nades. But I didn't even decide to test it more, and more rather started the next run. But there's not really much to say about that one, except that I died to Tempest on wave 3. Oops. The next run though went pretty well. I easily destroyed wave 1 through 7, killing Fusilier and Gaia on the way there. On wave 8 though, I went to melee a cloaker. I thought there was no way I could die from this. Until a fucking saboteur materialized in front of me, making my natural instincts kick in, meleeing the Sabo, but then my shovel was on the short cooldown, which meant that the cloaker fucking dropkicked my ass into a different fucking dimension. So the end of that run was just absolute bullshit. But anyways, let's get to the next run. Guess what happened in the next run? Yeah, I got fucking burned by Promi again. The next run though looked promising, since I killed Tempest easily, got the Epilogue Spillover special event and destroyed Gaia, until the wave 9 boss turned out to be Trident, and found out that you can shoot the orbs, sometimes. Since sometimes the nades just go through them for some reason. And I ended up dying to a cloaker while Trident was holding me captive. In the next round my ass got destroyed by Sparta again. And the same shit happened next run. It looked like I was stuck in this eternal loop of dying to either Sparta or Trident on wave 9, while Achilles was chilling somewhere on the Bahamas or something. But then run 9 happened. I might have been blessed by the saints, since Achilles finally came back from his trip to find himself. But that fighting was cut short by me strapping a pipe bomb to his teleporter and then shoveling him. Also, I guess Daedalus also finally showed up on wave 3 for the first time. But then wave 10 came around and holy shit, it's all 3 wave 9 bosses. This was the first time ever I saw all wave 9 bosses in one wave 10. That I remember at least. But in between Sparta and Trident arguing on who gets to molest me first, I decided that this would count as a win, because I could have won if I've gotten a bit more lucky with wave 10, and also because I've already recorded 6 hours of this agonizing gameplay. But with that, I challenge you to complete this challenge, maybe even on a higher difficulty if you don't have a skill issue like me. So that's what we do. Bye.